Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar, How to Build Copilot Agents to Automate Your Business. I'm Adam Seitz, a software consultant based in Saginaw, Michigan. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll explore how Copilot agents can transform the way we work, making tasks faster, smarter, and more intuitive. Let me start with a quick overview of what we'll cover today. You'll learn what Copilot agents are and how to build them using Microsoft tools. We'll also walk through two examples and wrap up with a Q&A session. Whether you're new to Copilot or already experimenting, this session will give you a practical insight on how to boost productivity using agents. Copilot agents are specialized chatbots designed to handle specific tasks in your workplace with minimal user input. These agents use automation and artificial intelligence, or AI, to respond and resolve user questions in real time, act autonomously, making decisions based on data and predefined goals, and finally, execute business processes. Agents extend the capability of Copilot, enabling smarter, faster, and more efficient workflows. There are three roles when it comes to creating, publishing, distributing, and using Copilot agents. Copilot agents are created by agent publishers. Publishers can create, publish, and use agents. Agents can be published to platforms like Copilot Chat, Teams, SharePoint, websites, mobile apps, and more. Access to Copilot agents is controlled by organization admins through the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Admins can enable or disable agents, assign agents to users or teams, enable or prevent access to specific systems or tools, and more. And finally, Copilot agents are interacted with by agent users. Agents operate within the security boundaries of Microsoft 365, meaning they only access data and systems explicitly permitted by the organization. Now let's talk about how to create an agent as an agent publisher. As an agent publisher, you'll use Copilot Studio to define your agent's goals, memory, tools, and logic. Within Copilot Studio, you can build agents and flows. Agents are built using the Agent Builder tool. You can also create flows within Copilot Studio. Flows work together with your agents by automating tasks like sending emails, updating records, scheduling meetings, and entering data. Let's take a closer look at the Agent Builder within Copilot Studio. The Agent Builder allows you to identify your agent and describe its purpose, connect your agent to data sources, files, platforms, and even other agents. The Agent Builder also allows you to create processes and workflows for your agent to follow. And finally, you can review your agent's history and statistics within Agent Builder. Copilot Studio also allows you to create flows. Flows are automated workflows built to work together with your agents, completing actions like sending emails, updating systems, scheduling meetings, data logging, and even more. Flows can be triggered manually by a user when called by the agent itself, on a schedule, on reception of an email, and more triggers. Now that you have an understanding of what an agent is and how they are created, let's go through a couple examples. For these examples, we are referencing Sage 100 and Sage HRMS, but this can apply to any ERP or HR system. Just a reminder that if you have any questions, please submit them to the Q&A section of the webinar. In our first example, we'll take a look at a document review agent designed to process purchase orders. I'll show you the workflow it operates on, how it's set up, and how it interacts with users. This agent is built to receive a purchase order or a PO from the user, review the PO based on defined data points, and respond to the user with what was found. Data points to review include confirming that the shipping address is a valid location, verifying that the date is valid and not in the past, and if a PO dollar amount is over $1,000, noting that it needs approval by a purchasing manager. In this video, I will show you how the agent is created and how it's used. Hello everyone, I'm Adam Seitz, and in this quick walkthrough, I'll show you how to build a Copilot agent that can review purchase order PDFs. Let's start by creating a new Copilot agent. First things first, I'll give it a description of what I want this agent to do. Next, I'll give it a name. Once we have the name entered, we can go ahead and select the Create button in the top right of the screen to create the agent. On the overview screen, we can see the name, the description, the instructions, and a few other things that are used within the agent. But for now, we'll go ahead and move over to the Topics section. Within the Topics section, there are a few custom topics, but for this agent, we're going to use a system topic. This system topic that we will be using is the Conversation Start topic. This topic is used whenever a user initiates a conversation with the agent. In this case, we're going to go ahead and start by creating a question. A question prompt allows us to ask the user for a purchase order PDF. We are going to identify a file that is sent back by the user and provide a name so that way we can use this file throughout the agent. Next, we'll go ahead and remove the message as we won't be using it for this topic. We'll go ahead and give a name for the question that we just added, and then we'll add a tool for a new prompt. The AI prompt allows us to use AI to review the file that was entered by the user based on the rules provided by the purchasing team and specify the output of the AI prompt for later use within the agent. We'll go ahead and give our prompt a name and provide the instructions that we want this AI prompt to follow. The rules provided by the purchasing team include verifying that the address is a valid location, verifying that the PO date is greater than or equal to today's date, and if the PO amount is over $1,000, it will note that a purchasing manager is required to review it. Next, we'll go ahead and add our content of our PDF document for review and today's date. Make sure to save the prompt before exiting. Now that the prompt has been created within the topic, we can attach the PDF file that was submitted by the user during the question step above. We can also enter a formula so that the prompt can calculate today's date for comparison on the PO date. Finally, we'll go ahead and create a variable for the output of the prompt. This output will be used within a message sent back to the user. Let's go ahead and create that message. And let's go ahead and add the output variable as the message back to the user. Now our topic's complete. But just for some extra measures, we're going to ask a question to see if the user wants to review another purchase order. If they do, we'll send them back up to the top. If not, we'll go ahead and have the agent send a message back to the user thanking them for using the assistant. To loop them back up to the top if they do want to review another, we'll use the Topic Management tool and the Go To Step action. From here, we'll go ahead and select the step that we want to take them to. This would be the question that we created at the beginning of the topic. Once that is done, we can go ahead and save the topic and publish the agent. The agent is now ready to use. With the agent ready to go, let's go ahead and give it a shot within the Copilot chat. With the agent selected, let's select the Review a PO PDF option. After submitting this option, we can see the question that we created while building the agent. And next, we can go ahead and attach the purchase order PDF that we want to review. After just a moment of loading, the agent will respond with the rules and if they were met or not, and an explanation why. Finally, after the rules have been presented, it asks us if we would like to review another purchase order. In this case, we'll go ahead and say no. With Copilot agents, your team can focus on decision making instead of data checking. It's fast, reliable, and easy to scale. Our second example features a more complex agent created as a process assistant for the new hire onboarding process. This agent assists our HR staff with the steps needed to onboard a new hire and allows them to review the onboarding status of a new hire. Here is the main workflow of the onboarding agent. This agent uses multiple flows to complete tasks like sending emails, reviewing incoming emails, data entry, and scheduling meetings. This agent is built to receive a new hire resume from the user, send emails to the new hire, the team that they'll be joining, and the IT team. Once the IT team notifies the agent that the IT tasks have been completed, the agent then finishes the onboarding process by setting up the user in Sage HRMS, scheduling the new hire's first week meetings, sending the schedule and paperwork to the new hire, and finally letting the HR manager know the onboarding process is complete. Some additional features of this agent include tracking new hire status throughout the onboarding process, allowing users to ask where in the onboarding process a new hire is, and finally, sending reminders whenever tasks have been sitting for longer than 36 hours without being completed. In this recording, I will show you how the agent is used, emails that are sent, and how the user can review a new hire status. Hello, my name is Adam Seitz, and I'm here to walk you through the new hire onboarding agent created within Copilot Studio. Let's go ahead and get started. First things first, we'll go ahead and select the Start Onboarding option and continue. It will then ask us for the new hire's resume. For this test, we'll go ahead and select a John Doe resume. Once the resume has been submitted, the Copilot agent will review the resume for a name and email address and a phone number. The agent will then respond, providing us with what it found. If these match what we can see on the resume, we can go ahead and continue. If not, we can enter the information manually after selecting the option below. After selecting Continue, the agent will then proceed by sending an email to the new hire, an email to the team, and an email to the IT team asking them to set up the new hire's account and system. Let's go ahead and review the status of this new hire. We'll select that option and then submit the email that was provided within the resume for review. The agent will then reply back with which steps have been completed. In this case, we can see the welcome email, the announcement email, and the IT tasks sent steps have been completed. Here are the emails that go along with those. You can see this is our welcome email, sent to John Doe himself. Next, we have the announcement email, sent to the team that they will be joining. Finally, we have the IT tasks list sent to the IT team.
This email is to be replied to by the IT team when the IT tasks have been completed. Let's go ahead and do that. Once the IT team has sent the completion email back to the agent will then complete the final tasks of the onboarding process. This includes scheduling first week meetings for the new hire in Outlook. Also, it includes setting up the new hire within our HR system. And finally, it sends a completion email to the HR manager letting them know that the new hire onboarding process has been completed. Let's go ahead and review the status of this new hire again. We go ahead and paste in the email address, and we can see here that every task in that onboarding process is now X'd out, letting us know that the onboarding process for John Doe has been completed. If we wanted to kick off the process for another new hire, we could do so right from here. Thank you for joining me in reviewing the new hire onboarding Copilot agent. With this agent, you can automate time-consuming tasks and complete your onboarding process with ease.
As we have seen today, using Copilot agents can be extremely beneficial. Key benefits to using Copilot include saving you time, automating repetitive or complex tasks, reducing manual effort, and freeing up time for more important work. This is often one of the most immediate and measurable benefits of Copilot agents. Agents also ensure process consistency. Agents follow predefined logic and workflows, ensuring that processes are executed the same way every time, minimizing human error and improving reliability. Employee experience is also benefited, saving your employees time and headaches with tedious tasks in their everyday work. And finally, customer experience. You can deploy agents to websites for your customers to access. These will provide faster responses, 24/7 availability, and accurate information. Copilot agents can significantly enhance how your customers interact with your services or products. Before we jump into questions, I'd love for you to consider how this tool could fit in your day-to-day. Whether it's saving time, reducing errors, or improving collaboration, what's one way you could start using it this week? Here's some questions to consider. How could Copilot agents help streamline one of my processes? What specific challenges could a Copilot agent help me solve? Think about one area in your work where this could make an impact. Now that we have gone through what agents are, how they are built, and some examples, I'd love to hear your thoughts or questions. Feel free to ask about use cases, setup, or anything else in the questions section of the webinar. If we don't get to your question today, I'll be happy to follow up afterward. Okay. All right. So yeah, let's see here. So looks like we do have a question here. All right. How do I get started? And what are the license requirements? That is a great question. So to get started, I would recommend to reach out to your account executive for more information on this. If you do not have an account executive or you're not sure who that is, I'd be happy to direct you. So go ahead and reach out. My email is right there on the screen. So if you're not sure who your account executive is, or if you do not have one and you're looking for more information, reach out. Again, if I again, like I said, if I don't get to any of your, or if I don't get to your question today, go ahead, send me an email, shoot me an email, and I'll get back to you with some more information. Okay, let's see here. All right. Here's another question. Is there support for multilingual agents? Another great question. Yes, there is. Nice thing about AI is that it does a pretty good job of translating, and it does support multiple languages. However, as it's not going to be as effective as a person translating. But there is support for it. I would just take it with a grain of salt in terms of like, if you use Google Translate, it's not always exactly one to one, but it gets the point across. But yes, there is support for multilingual agents. Okay, let's see here. Other questions? All right. Okay. Yep. Again, another question about the licensing. It's a great question. For more information about licensing, go ahead and reach out to your account executive. That's what I would recommend there. So, but great question. As there is with many of the Microsoft licenses, there's a few different paths you can go. So working with your account executive would be the way to go with that because there's a couple different options that you can go with it. Okay, another question here. How does Yo Yo use Copilot agents? It's another great question. Yo Yo uses Copilot agents for some document review. For example, we have one that assists us in our timesheet review. Also, we use Copilot agents for a few of our processes. So we use it as a process workflow assistant, similar to the HR onboarding agent that was in the demo video. We are also planning on deploying agents to our web pages in the future for client use. Okay, let's see here. How about security? Great question. So Copilot agent security is limited to, or is basically defined and set up through your admin center. So it only has access to the things that you give it access to. It is pretty similar to Copilot Chat or Copilot for Microsoft 365 and what it can access. It's a little bit expanded outside of that, but it's pretty similar to that in terms of it has access to your Microsoft Graph, which is things like your emails, your chats, your OneDrive, your SharePoint. But again, it only has access to those things if you allow it to have access to those things. One example of that is you may have a Copilot agent on your website for client or customer use, but you don't want them to be able to ask, like, what's this company secret? And then it be able to provide that to them. So you can essentially limit and only provide that agent the knowledge and the data that it can pull from to respond back to the users. So that's a great question. All right, let's see here. So another question here. This looks complicated. How long does it take for me to get up to speed to be able to create one of these agents? Yeah, so to create one of these agents, as you saw in the example with the purchase order review, it does require a little bit of um, logic knowledge. So being able to walk through a process flow. But really, the big thing when it comes to your being able to create these agents is having an understanding of what your workflow is. So kind of mapping out your workflow and then representing that within the agent builder. But to get up to speed and create one of these, it's going to take a few hours. There's going to be a few hours of doing some research, testing, testing a couple different ways. And then also once you deploy this or once you're ready to deploy this, I would recommend also including some testing, for multiple use cases because, you know, um, maybe you create a document review like the purchase order review, and you are ready to go with it, and you hand it out and they say, oh, can we add these other rules? So, it's something where you may be constantly adding things to, or it may be all set on the first go. So long story short, to get up to speed, it's going to take a few hours to get a good understanding of how to build these. And then depending on the complexity of the agents themselves, it could take from 30 minutes to you know, a day or 8 hours or more for the more complicated ones, like the onboarding agent. That one would take a little bit longer. So, good question. All right, let's see here. Another question here. Can I integrate Copilot agents with external APIs or databases? Okay, yeah. So external sources, Copilot agents can indeed connect to external sources. There are connectors within the agent builder that allow you to connect to things like your custom APIs, Power Automate flows as well, and other external databases. Okay. All right, we have another question here. Are you available to create agents for me? Yeah, so that's a great question. So if you are interested in agents but do not necessarily want to build them yourself, that is something that we can do. So there's a few steps with that. So again, similar to, information on the licensing requirements and cost, I would recommend that you reach out to your account executive to check on that. So yeah, but yes, this is as you saw with those demos, and as I mentioned, we do use agents here, so we have the ability to create them. So if you are interested in agents and would rather have us take a stab at creating an agent for one of your processes, go ahead and reach out to your account executive about that. Yeah, great question. Okay, and let's see here. All right, so that will about do it for questions. So thank you everyone for your questions. If I did not get to your question today or you think of one later, be sure to email me. My email is right here on the screen, adam.sites@yoandyo.com. So feel free to email me or your account executive if you have any additional questions that we didn't get to, or if you think of something else later. So to close, let's recap. Copilot agents are powerful tools for automating tasks and enhancing your productivity. Today, you've seen how they're built, how they work, how they can be applied in real world scenarios. Thanks again for joining.